Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Mctear's auctions based in the UK. I'm going to have a look at their latest auction, which is a mixture of musical and scientific instruments. So a few of these things won't be of interest to us, but we will have a look at the musical instruments. Looks like it's probably quite an interesting auction. Only 83 lots in total, so I think about 50 or so are probably musical instruments. But there's some pretty curious stuff here, so I think it should be a pretty good auction. Buyer's premium is 24%, so that's what you have to pay on top of the final hammer price. This auction is finishing on the 11th of April. It is the 31st of March today, so you've still got a little bit of time left. But yeah, it looks to be quite an interesting auction, to be fair. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack on and have a look into it. So just a reminder, this is a UK-based auction, so bear in mind import, export fees, shipping, CITES restrictions if you're outside of the UK. And also just to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like, comment, turn on notifications, all of that fun stuff, because it really does help quite a lot. So yeah, quite a few lots actually of the musical instrument variety, so let's just crack on and see what they are. So we've got a Monzani & Co. of London flute, London 1899. Stamped maker's mark with hallmark silver mount, another mount engraved George Mctear. So I am not very knowledgeable at all about flutes, but I do think that a Monzani flute is probably something that is quite good. So if you are a flautist, or if you know about flutes from a kind of collector's point of view, please do let me know. But as far as I'm aware, there is probably quite a good flute, so £50 to £100 the estimate on that. Going in here with a classic concertine here, Charles Wheatstone 56 key there, 5-fold Moroccan leather there, so you can get a condition report as well. 800 to 1200 is the estimate on this one, so that's a better quality one there. You can ask for condition reports, as they say. Got some other clocks that we can ignore. Right, we have a violin here, Walter Bath, German full-size violin, 1970, Strad copy, label Walter Bath, 2-piece back in hard case with bows, 300 to 500, which is probably not an unreasonable price. Difficult to really see what's going on in terms of instrument and bows, but looks in good condition and does look to probably be a German violin of that period, so that seems fair enough. Right, full-size violin, believed French, circa 1880-1890, Strad copy, in case with 2 bows, 1 stamped Hoyer. Note with Glasgow's violin shop restoration receipt dated to 2013, 500 to 1000 on that. So one picture, not really helpful to be honest, but we can kind of see the bows. Would be nice to see a picture of the back. Yeah, it looks like a half decent violin that is in okay condition, and if it's gone through some restoration that would make sense, but really do need at least another picture of the back. Would be helpful if you want to get the most out of the auction. So if you are the auctioneer, do try and get some more pictures up. Right, we're on to a tuba by Besson & Co. with compensating valves there. Looks like the only picture, 50 to 100 on that. Looks like it probably needs a bit of TLC. Right, we've got a cornet in B flat, Boozy & Co. there. 39 centimeters long. Once again, this looks heavily tarnished and probably needs a bit of TLC, 30 to 50, but you know, reasonable estimates there. Trumpet in B flat and A, Besson & Co. there. Extra slide, which will kind of be able to change the pitch of that, so that's interesting. Okay, cornet in B flat and A with 2 shanks in wood case. I've got a few more pictures of this one. Nice old case on that, 30 to 50. Tenor trombone, Boozy & Hawkes there, 30 to 50, and we're all very reasonable estimates so far. Can't argue with that. Right, a couple more trombones. Tenor trombone, Hawkes & Son, pretty similar. Ooh, quite heavily tarnished. Bass trombone here, 30 to 50 on that one. All needing a bit of TLC, I'm sure. Another bass trombone here with a case, this one 30 to 50 on that. Once again, I'm not very knowledgeable at all about any of this stuff. It looks like some of the metal work is a bit pitted, so it probably needs some attention. Right, collection of bagpipe parts, late 19th, early 20th century, including a partial set with degraded mouthpiece and leather bag. Further chanters and mouthpiece in tuned hardwood, some likely cocos wood, one section containing ivory, other sections with engraved white metal mounts, including 2 chanters stamped for P. Henderson of Glasgow, one for Robert Reed of Glasgow, and 1 David Glenn, Sons of Edinburgh, contained in an oak case with CWD. So it's got ivory material, so you need to be aware of that. CITES restrictions. Looks like it's probably an interesting lot for people that collect kind of bagpipes. 300 to 500. Some of the bagpipe stuff can be worth quite a bit of money. Not really sure on this one, but it seems probably a reasonable estimate, at least from the low end. Got another concertine here, Mctear, the Wren 30 key concertina. I think this is a modern one. I think we've seen a Mctear before, and I think they're still active. They've got a website, so I think this is a contemporary one. I don't actually know how much they cost at all. We could probably look it up, but I guess that's probably about right. Some more stuff here. I've got a Gibson ES140 electric hollow body guitar, tobacco sunburst. Not giving much information on that one there, but let's have a look. Looks nice enough. I'm not someone to be able to know if something is genuine or not, although I feel that this is probably a model that no one is going to try and counterfeit, but you never know. It's had a big break there at the headstock, not too uncommon. Some other cracking on the body, but interesting looking guitar, and they're not giving much information about it, which is a bit strange, but interesting. Anyway, what is the estimate here? 700 to 1,000, assuming it's correct, is probably not unreasonable. A few more clocks here. It's interesting. Boss Dr. Rhythm Graphic DR110. I actually have no idea what that is, but it's like a drum machine or something. That's quite cool, quite interesting. 50 to 100, I think those are quite popular, so not one I've seen before. Ruddle Cart & Co. A flute there, 3 parts, body engraved with maker's name, model details and initials EW. Okay, 400 to 500. I'm assuming that this is a solid silver flute then. Interesting letter there. At that kind of estimate, but once again, not my kind of sphere of knowledge. Right, we've got a guitar here. John Lennon Interest, rare Gibson 70th Anniversary Museum Model Semi-Acoustic Guitar, circa October 2010. Serial number 1248045, model J160E. Interior label signed by Ono. The body with 2 John and Yoko sketches, the first Montreal 69, the second Amsterdam 69 John Lennon, with simulated tortoiseshell scratchboard retaining film cover, with mother of pearl frets, the 12th fret inscribed John Lennon's birthday, October 9th, 1940, the headstock with mother of pearl signature, and Gibson hard case presented with certificate of authenticity signed by Ono, inspection certificate and 2 manuals. As per online source, 1 historic acoustic from 1 legendary artist, 1 exceptional once-in-a-lifetime limited edition opportunity to share in part of history. Okay, interesting. So some kind of tribute guitar that Gibson must have made at some point. So if you are a Beatles or John Lennon fan more specifically, then I guess this is kind of for you. Once again, if they I think this is, they're looking for £10,000 to £12,000 for this, I would really recommend that you kind of take a few more pictures of it if you're trying to sell it, but then again, it might well just sell itself. So anyway, interesting one there for sure. So there's definitely some curious stuff in this sale. More clocks and other interesting mechanical instruments here, which I am quite a fan of. Pretty cool. Okay, yeah, more scientific instruments, but we do have some more musical instruments coming here. Antonio Lecce full-size violin bearing interior label for Antonio Lecce dated 1923 with an AG Vigneron bow in case, 1500 to 2,500 on that. Bow certainly looks quite nice, but looks like here there's probably some kind of break in that, so bear that in mind. Violin looks kind of interesting as well, but once again not really enough photos unfortunately, but looks like quite an interesting scroll. Very hard to tell from these photos unfortunately, but could be interesting, worth viewing in person I guess if you can. Right, full size cello, late 19th, early 20th century. Interior label for Alan C. Smith, violin maker and restorer, Kintyre, Argyll, Scotland, 2004. Okay, 500 to 1,000 on that. Once again, I think this is the only picture, so not really helping themselves here, unfortunately. Very hard to tell. Got a Selmer tenor saxophone here, mid to late 20th century, 2 to 2.5. It's amazing how many of these Selmer saxophones are around. Okay, we've got a con soprano saxophone here, 1914, 2 to 400. Interesting picture of the empty case, slightly odd choice, but I'm sure you can ask for additional pictures of these from the auctioneers if you are interested. Got an EKO electric guitar, teardrop shape, 50 to 100. Kind of interesting one. Would also be pretty good to see some other pictures of that. So, like I said, you can contact the auction houses. Let's see what we've got here. Selmer alto saxophone here, 2 to 4 on that. Once again, not many pictures, but these usually sell pretty well. Got an Encore electric guitar here, 30 to 50. Nothing too crazy on that. Another Encore electric there, 30 to 50. Same kind of deal. Right, we've got a few more guitars here. A Maison electric guitar, looks like it's an 80s type thing. It's interesting looking, 30 to 50. Johnson JG 620 Dreadnought acoustic guitar, that's a pretty budget kind of thing there, 30 to 50. And a Vantage 670V electroacoustic guitar, 50 to 100 is the estimate on that. Nothing too crazy on that either. Some more clocks. Looks like we've got another violin here. John Ramsey of Kirkcaldy, Scottish full-size violin, circa 1830. Written John Ramsey, maker Kirkcaldy, 1830 to interior, with 2-piece back, contained in violin case with unmarked bow. Okay. Previously played in a professional capacity in the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra. Okay, let's have a look at that. 3 to 500 on that. Kind of interesting enough varnish there. Looks like some interesting thing going on the button there. Once again, very difficult to tell with this quality of pictures. And let's see what else we got here. Continental full-size violin, believed Italian, circa first half of the 18th century, with possible attribution to the Tononi family. 1-piece back, presented alongside 2 previous notes, one handwritten and one typed, both discussing attribution to the Tononi family, in case with interior label for Jettel Orchestra Model B. Another one of these professional symphony orchestra instruments, estimate 5 to 10, so they are speculating on the Italian attribution there. Very difficult once again to tell from the pictures, but interesting looking scroll and quite a curious looking back, although it's not really jumping out at me, but it's not I'm not really up on Tononi kind of as a Tononi family as a maker, as makers, so it's a bit curious. Here's some information here. The type note by R. Graham and states this fine violin has many characteristics of the Tononi family and appears to have been made around 1720. Okay. yeah, I mean, it could well be something interesting. It's very, very difficult to tell. Very cool scroll there. Very difficult to tell without more pictures, and something like a dendro would be really handy to know what's going on. Looks like it's had a few repairs, but yeah, quite an interesting looking violin. Another one that's worth looking at in person. If it's any good, clearly a dealer or someone will spend a lot of money on it. You can be quite sure of that. Right, a Vincent Buck of Elkhart Stradivarius model trumpet there, 2 to 400 on that one. English violin, 18th century, in case with bow, 1 to 200 on that, which seems fair. Interesting looking scroll on that. Looks like it's in a not the greatest condition. Looks like inked purfling, but yeah, quite an interesting one there. Quite a few violins actually in this auction. Scottish violin, 19th century, in case with bow. No additional information there, so not sure exactly how they come to that conclusion, but it must be some information there. German violin, 19th century, in case with bow, 2 to 300. Looks fairly standardish. Okay, group of violin parts, which seems to have no actual image, so that's fair enough. Set of bagpipes, early to mid 20th century. In turned darkwood with ivory mounts, leather bag with later plastic blowpipe and chanter, housed in a hard case with brass plaque inscribed for D. Shearer, pipers, whiskey pipe band, Paisley, and paper label for shot and dyke head pipe band. Okay, interesting. Not many pictures on that. 200 to 400. Right, we have a Lacanol & Co. London 48 key patent concertina there. Fretted ebony, ebonized ends with metal foliate inlay, 6-fold Morocco bellows and soft case. Not many pictures on that one either, but as we've discussed, always popular concertinas, and that one will be no different, I don't think. And that appears to be the end of the musical instrument part of the auction. So yeah, actually not a bad auction. Some pretty interesting violins, actually, I have to say. Definitely some interesting violins. A couple of interesting other instruments, and if you like John Lennon, you might be interested in that kind of limited edition guitar. But yeah, an interesting flute towards the beginning, just a real curious mixture. Not many items, but in general I have to say it's been quite an interesting auction to look at. So there you go, that's the Mctear's auction, which is finishing on the 11th of April. I'll put a link in the description as always. Check it out and see what you think. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.